London, 1894. I stood at the docks awaiting my partner, Dr. Flora. It was cold that morning, but what was to follow chilled my blood more than any London fog.
Talking to yourself again, Inspector Sage?
It's a monologue, my dear Flora, setting the scene for the folks at home.
Folks at who?
Never mind. You've brought the equipment then.
That's putting it eloquently, don't you think? And yes, I've got the crowbar you asked for.
And I have the search warrant. After you, my good doctor.
Oh, no. I'm not breaking into an old warehouse on the waterfront. That might be a hideout for some creepy mad scientist. I am a doctor, not a world-famous detective. This is your case. You go first.
Very well.
Wait, what's that?
It's a flashlight.
They had those in the 1890s?
David Missel, a friend of mine from New York, is working on them as we speak. And this is a prototype he sent me. But that's neither here nor there. Shall we get back to the case?
Right, sorry. It doesn't look like anyone's home.
On the contrary, Doctor. I do believe I sense something here.
Careful, Sage.
I do believe I have discovered a secret passage. Stay close.
That's an odd smell. It reminds me of something.
Pumpkin, perhaps?
Yes, that's exactly it. But why am I smelling pumpkins here of all places?
Elementary, my dear Flora. This is the scene of a most foul butchery of a fine seasonal gourd. Behold the evidence.
It's all over the place. The seeds, the stringy, slimy inside bits.
You mean the guts?
Well, yes, but I didn't want to get too gross. This is a kid show after all.
I don't think pumpkin guts are going to give anyone nightmares. Though the pumpkin stink is enough to make me a little woozy.
Yeah, there's just one thing I'm confused about.
What's that, Doctor?
You said there might be a mad scientist here, and I don't see anyone here. The only criminal thing I can see is that someone made a mess and didn't clean up after themselves.
Indeed. I guess there's only one thing left to do.
Listen to the radio, but they won't be invented until next year. Wait, don't tell me. This is a prototype.
Precisely.
Oh, hey girls, I didn't hear you come in.
Yeah, Flora and I saw the pumpkins out front and we wanted to see what was going on.
Yeah, are you making pies or something, Miss Tabitha?
Nope, just doing a little carving. Want to join me? There are plenty of pumpkins out there.
Carve them?
Sure. You know, you cut out a design in them so that when you put a candle in there, it lights up and it looks really pretty in the dark.
Or spooky, depending on the picture you make.
No thanks. I'm fine.
Oh, okay. Well, if you change your mind, there's plenty.
So how do I start?
Well, I found it's best to have an idea of what kind of carving you want to make. I've been doing a little research online, and there are some pretty cool ideas out there.
Cool. Can I borrow your phone?
Sure. Are you sure you don't want to join us, Flora?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Well, I'll be sure to set a pumpkin aside in case you change your mind.
Yeah, thanks. Do you mind if I listen to the radio?
Not at all.
That's looking really cool, Miss Tabitha. I really like that happy smile.
Thanks, Sage. Have you found any pictures that you're interested in carving?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with this spider. It looks really cool and easy enough for me to do real quick.
Sounds good. Oh, here's a marker so you can draw it out before you start cutting.
Thanks. Hey, Flora, you know you don't just have to sit there. You can carve a pumpkin too.
No, I don't think I should.
If she doesn't want to carve a pumpkin, she doesn't have to.
Her loss. Just saying.
Is everything okay, Flora? Are you not feeling well?
I'm good, just... I was wondering, what are you making these carved pumpkins for exactly?
What do you mean?
I mean, it's not for Halloween, is it?
I guess it is. Is that what you're upset about?
Yeah, my family doesn't celebrate Halloween. My parents say that it's not something that Christians should be celebrating because it's about bad stuff.
It is?
Yeah, think about it. Ghosts, skeletons, vampires, and zombies. All kinds of evil stuff that I'm sure Jesus isn't happy with.
That makes sense.
Yeah, we usually stay inside with all the lights off so people don't knock on our door and wait for it all to be over.
That sounds dramatic.
maybe, but it's better than celebrating a holiday that was invented by Satan.
Satan?
You know, the devil, the enemy of God.
I know who you mean, Flora, but though I understand how you feel, the fact of the matter is Halloween is actually a holiday that Christians invented.
What? That can't be true.
Sorry, but it is. November 1st is a holiday called All Saints' Day, where we celebrate the lives of all of our fellow Christians who have died before us. And the night before, the tradition was to walk the streets and pray for and remember these holy or hallowed people. So this night was called All Hallows' Eve.
Kind of like Christmas Eve.
Right. Other traditions of this celebration included giving to beggars when they came to your door, lighting candles, and dressing up like famous Christians from times past. Sound familiar?
Yeah. Then what happened? How come things got so scary?
Well, just like all good holidays, people started celebrating it for the wrong reason. Instead of celebrating that we will see our friends again when Jesus comes back, people started to focus on the death part.
Which explains the ghosts and the skeletons and stuff.
Exactly. Pretty soon it was all about being spooky and getting treats from our neighbors, and not at all how it started.
And that's why my family thinks it's bad.
Wow. But if that's how it all turned out, then why are we carving pumpkins?
Good question. And I have an illustration that might help us understand.
An illustration? You mean like a drama script?
Not quite. I've got to get a few props. I'll be right back.
Props?
I don't know. Want to listen to the radio while we wait for her to get back?
I guess so.
All right. I think I have everything set.
What's going on, Miss Tabitha?
Yeah, what's with the candle in the basket?
You'll see. Okay, I'm going to turn off the lights now so no one start running around.
Why? Whoa, that's dark. Hello?
We're right here, Flora.
Okay, I'm a little nervous.
It's kind of scary, isn't it? Kind of like our world. It's hard to know where we need to go, and without being able to see, it can be really easy to get hurt.
Yeah, I think we need some lights in here.
Calm down, Flora. It's okay.
I'm calm, Sage. I just want to be able to see.
How's that?
Oh, much better.
You see, this candle is a lot like God and His love. When God's love and holiness come into the darkness, they make it so people can see the right way to live. And they also show what we're doing wrong.
That makes so much more sense now.
What does?
In church, we are always singing about how I saw the light and how God is a light for a path or whatever. I had no clue this is what they were talking about all along.
Now for the fun part. Not only does God show us how to live with His light, but when we believe in Him and His promises, He puts His light inside us, like this carved pumpkin.
That's one happy pumpkin.
When God does this, we will start loving with His love and living holy lives with His holiness. And now, when people need help seeing the right way to live, they can see by God's love and holiness living inside of us.
Interesting. So what's the basket for?
Oh, yes. Okay, sometimes it can be scary to let our light shine in the darkness. When this happens, we might try to hide the light, like putting this basket over everything. Maybe we might get made fun of, or perhaps someone might get angry if God's light shows something they were trying to hide.
And now it's dark again.
Yeah, I can't see a thing.
Exactly. When we decide not to show God's love to others, things never get better. They always get worse. So instead, we should let our light shine no matter what, because when there is light, darkness always loses. Any questions?
Yeah. Can we turn on the lights again?
All right, watch your eyes.
Ow! That's much better.
So, did any of that make sense?
Yeah, it did.
Kind of. I've got to think about it for a little bit.
While she thinks, is it okay if I listen to the radio?
All right, here, let me start it up.
Okay, Miss Tabitha. I think I've thought about what we've been talking about long enough to have some questions about it.
Great. What's your first question, Flora?
First things first, all that stuff about God being like light and putting light in us and how it's important not to hide His light, is that in the Bible or are you just making that all up?
Oh, it's in there. A lot.
For instance?
Well, Sage, there's Psalm 27:1. John 8:12, 2 Corinthians 4:6, and 1 John 1:5 to begin with. Oh, of course, and then there's Ephesians 5:8 and Matthew 5:16.
Okay, I get it. It's in there.
You weren't joking. It's in there a lot.
Okay, next question. What does this have to do with Halloween?
Yes, application. As we pointed out, Halloween isn't what it started out to be. Sure, there's fun stuff like candy and costumes, but there are also some pretty bad things as well. Because of all of the darkness we see, it can be easy for us to hide away, trying to protect ourselves from those bad things. But God tells us in those verses that we shouldn't hide, but show God's love instead. If we hide from the evils of Halloween, it's not going to get any better. But if we make it a chance for us to show God's love to others, then Halloween stops being about evil and instead becomes a night of love and kindness.
Okay, so does that mean we should celebrate Halloween?
Sage, I was asking the questions.
Sorry, go ahead.
So does that mean we should celebrate Halloween?
Not necessarily, but it doesn't mean we shouldn't either.
Huh?
I think the best answer comes from Romans 14, where God explains that there are some things that might be right for some people and wrong for others. If the Bible doesn't say that something like celebrating a certain holiday is wrong, then it's up to you to use wisdom to make the right choice.
Okay, what's that mean exactly?
If you and your family think that it's wrong to celebrate Halloween, then you definitely shouldn't do it. If you don't think it's wrong, then it's fine. Either way, God tells us that these decisions are ours to make, and we should still show God's love to each other, even if we disagree.
Wow, for a day that we didn't have Mr. Jacobs around, there's still a lot to think about.
So, last question. How are you going to use these carved pumpkins to show God's love to people?
Well, I was going to put them on my porch for the trick-or-treaters, and when people come to my door, I will greet them with a smile and give them all sorts of goodies. I mean, when else do you get to give presents to random strangers?
Good point.
Any more questions, Flora?
Maybe, but I think I'm going to have to talk to my parents about them.
That sounds like a really good idea.
Yeah, I'll see ya.
Bye.
Now then, Sage, you ready to start carving?
You bet. Where do we start?
Okay, so you want to cut at the top all the way around, and then use the scoop to get all the gunk out.
Oh, and how long will that take?
It depends on how slow you go.
Oh, I better get started then.
And I'll turn off the radio.